Well, Coldwell Banker would be one of the most recognisable brands in the real estate space. The next guest has probably got a fair bit to do with that, I imagine. David Raine is the Senior Vice President of Brand Engagement at Coldwell Banker, and his job involves elevating the brand among consumers in a positive way through advertising campaigns and managing the digital footprint. And David joins us now. Thanks for joining us, David.
Thanks for having me, Kieran.
So, David, we just talked about digital footprint. Maybe for those of us a little undereducated like myself, what actually is a digital footprint for a company? How would you describe it?
A digital footprint is actually critical to the marketing of any company today. And it really covers the gamut of everything from how consumers are coming across you, mostly online. But online we typically think of just being your computer, but it covers everything from social to your phone to your mobile. So the digital footprint is actually the storefront that is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and it's how the consumers or your customers are engaging with your company.
How hard is it to control? Because you kind of put it out there, and you know, with the way that social media, etc., is run today, consumers have a lot of engagement with it and have a little control themselves. How do you guys manage to rope it in?
Well, as the person who's in charge of marketing for a very large international real estate brand, I like to say that a brand is a story told not just by its message, but by its people. So you have to really realize that you're relinquishing control of your brand in today's day and age to the people that are working for you and those that are engaging with you. So we go into it looking not that, hey, we're going to control this entire environment by ourselves, but that through our digital platforms, through how we're engaging through content, video, and even on our sites, we're able to convey the message that we want for our brand. But ultimately, the consumer is going to have a say in it, as well as our network of 92,000 agents across the globe.
The digital environment allows just even small operators to come across as quite big operators nowadays. If a small operator is looking to establish a digital footprint, what are some of the steps they should be taking towards that?
If you want to establish a better digital footprint, you have to look at what is the content that you're creating. And when we say content, a lot of people think like, oh, I got to start writing blog posts or whatever. That's part of it. But it's even looking at your site. What is it saying? What is it communicating? What is the most important thing you want people to walk away knowing about you or achieving when they're interacting with you? And that extends also to what you're doing on social platforms. How are your videos, your tweets that are out there, your Facebook posts, anything that people are coming across? Is it giving a singular message? Are they expecting the same thing? Are they having the same experience throughout? And that's really tough to do in today's day and age, but it's critical to make sure that your brand message is being heard and people are getting that identity that you want them to get.
What are some of the practical steps of this too? Because I imagine maintaining it takes a lot of effort, but is certainly worthwhile. What sort of really practical steps do people need to do to maintain that digital footprint in the way that they want?
Yeah, maintaining it is the toughest thing. I mean, we all like to say, well, I created it and people just came and everything is great. But it's the idea of going in every single day and having a plan, having a strategy, an editorial calendar about what you're going to create and when, and how does it fit with what are the shifts and the ebbs and flows of your business, is really the thing that a lot of people need to get an understanding of, that is critical to making sure that your digital footprint is not only exists today, but it continues to grow in the future. And you have a plan to engage people no matter what time of the year it is.
And David, how do you measure the impact of that on your business? I mean, is there a real dollar outcome from having a successful digital footprint?
Yeah, you're going to see not only increase in traffic, you're going to see better engagements, but you always want to make sure that your measurements are set in place ahead of time and know what you're measuring against. So we have certain tactics that we're measuring. What is the lead efficiency? What is our cost per lead, cost per click? How efficient can we make that? Can we lower that cost? There are other avenues where it's about branding and engagement, and making sure that people are aware. What is the message that we're getting? What is their perception of us? And so we do different measurements according to whatever strategic plan we have for that piece of content.
Some of the leading agents are working at Coldwell Banker. I mean, what are some of the tools that they're using to create, maintain, and get productive off their digital footprint?
Yeah, one of the great things about Coldwell Banker, what we offer our agents, is our CBX technology suite, which has a listing presentation option on it, and through that we are partnering with big data partners to use predictive analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence to actually create a buyer profile for a specific listing. So you can enter in a property, you find out, all right, what does the most likely buyer for this property look like? Where do they live? What are their habits? What are their media habits? what is their average commute time? Where are they looking to improve? And what we're finding is a lot of our agents are using that to more efficiently target advertising on Facebook and other platforms because they're able to create a profile for that buyer and target them specifically. It gives them an advantage at the listing presentation table. They can go in and tell a seller, like, hey, every other agent's going to come in and say, I'm going to put a yard sign, we're going to advertise in the paper, I'm going to send out direct mail pieces. But if you list with me, we're going to do a targeted ad approach, and here's the buyer profile that we've created. And we've seen some fantastic results from it. We've seen cost per leads on advertising on Facebook get lowered down to like $3 cost per lead, which is fantastic. But using that data to inform decisions and get that content out there to reach the right audience, that is critical in any type of marketing efforts that you're doing.
I'm getting the impression from you too that you see the digital space as something that works in tandem with more traditional media. Is that how you view it?
Oh, absolutely. Digital feeds traditional and vice versa. There's learnings across both. The trick is that everybody needs to, anybody who's marketing today has to be able to measure the results. They have to be able to know what they want the results to be going into it. So whether you're doing an advertising on television or you're doing a highly targeted search paid ad campaign, you've got to know, like, hey, here's what the goal that I'm trying to accomplish. What are the measurements that we're going to use to see if I'm successful or not? I'm a sports guy. I love to know if I'm winning or not. So being able to measure and see whether we're succeeding or not is key.
Well, it's a competitive environment, so no surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also a pretty dynamic environment to the digital space. How do you stay in front of that? Because it's pretty easy to get left behind in the dust if you don't know what's coming.
It's nonstop. You have to continue to pursue what is next and thinking ahead. I've been fortunate enough, I've been with Coldwell Banker for 17 years and been able to see a lot of new developments come through. Not only were we the first national real estate brand with a website with coldbanker.com, first to put listings online back in 1996. If you can believe that.
Yeah.
First brand with an iPhone and Android application with international property search. First to partner with YouTube on a video channel that you could search for video listings. First in a virtual world. So we had all these firsts that are out there, and we continue to want to push to see what's next. So when everybody's talking about today, and I used the buzzwords just earlier about machine learning, predictive analytics, AI, that's the hot button today. It's something that we were looking at 4 years ago when we first developed our CVX technology suite. So we're continuing to push for what's next. We look to outside our industry for inspiration as well. We've partnered with Samsung on exploring virtual reality and how to market listings through that. And we're continuing to push the envelope with video, working with Google and YouTube and our own video partners to create really compelling content that can engage consumers on mobile, on desktop, and even beyond.
It's terrific. I mean, it certainly sounds like you're staying well ahead of the pack. But of course, we're here at Inman today. There's been some really interesting speakers, been some great companies displaying. Has there been anything here that's really excited you over the last few days?
Yes, I really enjoyed Robert Repkin and Ryan Schneider, the CEO of Realogy, who's the parent company for Coldwell Banker, their discussion this morning. There's a lot of discussion about brand and authenticity and does brand matter or not. And what's funny is, does brand matter has been a conversation in real estate ever since I joined it 17 years ago. And we keep debating the answer, but yet there are a lot of brands that are still around today. And I think brand does matter, but it does depend what brand that you're with. And I have the great fortune of being with a brand that's been around for 112 years, origins in San Francisco, where disruptive forces and innovative ideas have come from, and we've taken that inspiration from our roots and used that to propel us for the last 112 plus years, and we're looking forward to what lies ahead.
It's a pretty thrilling time to be in business, isn't it, David?
It is. A lot of changes going on, but that's what keeps you busy and keeps you interested.
Terrific. Glad to hear you're right at the forefront of it, David. Keeping us in line. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.